Hello, YouTube fam. How y'all doing? It's your Uncle Tim. This is Uncle Tim Rants and Reviews, a channel where I rant and I review. I'm your host, Uncle Tim. Fam, you know what? In order to have a hobby, you gotta pay to play. This shit is not cheap. And I don't know how to say this. If you bought the Funko Pops, the smaller ones, the $15 ones from Target or Walmart, that's what they cost. The bigger ones, some of those go for like 25 and 50. You know, action figures are like $25. Video games, man, those prices range. Comics, the prices range. Shoes, the prices range. The cologne, the price range. Watches, hats, clothes, jackets. Dude, what I'm trying to say is you gotta find a way to make all of this work for you. You gotta find it, where you like, man, I'm not spending an arm and a leg no more. I was able to get, some Marvel Legends for $5.99. I was able to get some Star Wars Black Series for like $10 or $5.99. I was able to actually get some DC Multiverse stuff when it's at Ross for like, or DD's like for $5.99. Some wrestling figures for $9.99 at those locations, bro. My thing is, with everything being as expensive as it is, I have to work, or I'm finding a way to make it cheaper for myself. I explain over and over again with all the utilities, your reoccurring bills going up, dude. You have to find a way to still be able to have a hobby. And see, that's the thing. This is why I'm doing my collecting the way I'm doing it. And that's why I've been doing it that way for a long time. People say, oh, you shop at Ollie's, DD's, Discount, Ross, all that cheap shit that they used to sell at Target and Walmart. It was garbage at Target and Walmart, but I picked it up at Target and Walmart. But it's garbage now that it's at Ross and Ollie's. Dude, look. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I'm going to be honest, bro. The figures I collect, man, people don't understand. They like, man, you need to get quality figures. What make you think that my figures that I got ain't quality? These are the ones I want. These are not the ones that everybody else is running after. I don't want a collection that look like everybody else's. Bro, that ain't don't make no damn sense. We're not all the same. And I'm serious about that. None of us is the same. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing to get out here and collect and enjoy and be happy about some of the stuff that you see, man. I see some nice stuff on eBay, man. I still go on eBay from time to time. I got the chest of the cheetah for like the same price I would have got it in the store. After the taxes, after the shipping, it was like $25. After everything said and done, it was $25. I was trying to get Tony the Tiger, off of eBay for that price, but I just got it, I just bought it today, just a few minutes ago. And I was just like, I was happy about that. I'm looking at a way to try to, get the stuff that I want. But, again, I'm not in there trying to break the bank. I'm not trying to, overdo it. I'm just taking my time and filling my way out. Again, that's how this hobby works, man. You don't go broke collecting, man. I say the same thing with the Pokemon and the sports cards, bro. Hobbies are fun, but all hobbies cap out for some reason. After a while, the market crashes in that hobby. Sports cards, the 90s, like the early 90s when they created all those particular skybox and hoops and all of those other cards, man, and it just flooded the market. Think about it. We had that issue happen with comic books and action figures and damn near Funko Pop. So I'm looking at it just like this. It's sooner or later going to happen with the Pokemon cards. See, that's what happened. Even the cologne had a lull back in the day because people had just got tired, man. It was just too much. And if you look at cologne YouTubers, dude, you'll get so mad. It's a woodsy scent. It smells of like hot cinnamon and spices, and it makes you feel like you home. And I'm like, man, tell me some shit I need to hear, man. Like when I put this on, man, it makes me feel like my grown ass is grown. I got bills, I got responsibilities, shit. I got to pay a damn car note, a mortgage and shit. You sitting there thinking to your damn self, I got to go to a damn job, That's what that cologne smells like. And you sitting there thinking to yourself, it smells like growth. That's what it smells like. Dude, and this is what I talk about here. I don't talk about regular stuff. Because after a while, we have to transition from time to time from things, man. Because, there's so many people lately that's been transitioning from out of certain genres into a whole nother genre. Some people used to be horror narrators. Now they political pundits now on YouTube. I'm like, damn, you used to be a video game person. Now you a bike person, where you ride motorcycles and stuff. Man, I'm looking at all this stuff. Why? Because it's letting me know you got to keep those avenues open. You got to keep them lanes open. People say, hey, Unc, stay in your lane. Dude, I got multiple lanes because I got a lot of life experience. You may not agree with any of it, but shit, it helped me get this damn far. And my whole thing to you is, one thing about this collecting thing, man, the way how the situation is set up, it'll make you feel like you can't afford nothing. Like I told you, full toys is $100. Now, at GameStop, some of the toys, McFarlane stuff is like 26. And you sitting there, and that's the ones without the Build-A-Figure pieces. So you sitting there getting a $26 toy, that shit start adding up once you think about it. After taxes, that's $30. So you thinking 30, 60, 90, 120, dude. There's already a 20 that's been added in there. You sitting there thinking to yourself like, damn, this is what you thinking. This is what a average collector thinks, man. You like with everything, with inflation, the tariffs, even though the tariffs haven't hit, every damn thing done went up, and you sit here thinking, how do I stay relevant in this collecting situation? And that's what I was sitting there thinking, man. How do I stay relevant? I stopped for I think 3 or 4 months. Not 3 or 4 months, I apologize. 3 or 4 weeks. I think 2 or 3 weeks, to be honest. And, I was just thinking, man, I hadn't seen anything that really, caught my eye, Even with the Funko Pops, they're not pushing them hard as they used to at Ross. Because as I learned, they're not selling. A lot of times, they crash out after a while, whereas you mark them down so damn much, you get rid of them then. Kids are not, really into any of this stuff no more, man. And I've been seeing some new stuff hit the Rosses on these videos, man, and I'm like, man, I'm ready to jump in, if I could find some of this stuff. Last weekend I did not go out. I just wasn't feeling up to it, man. Worked all week, man, was tired, stressed. Just had a lot on my plate, man. There's a lot of other stuff happening outside of YouTube and, in other situations that I'm dealing with, man. And I explain to people, when you grown, you got a lot of shit that just don't make sense. For my kids' birthdays, I give them money and things like that, man. For my birthdays, at this very same time, my son oldest turned 29 on the 30th. Dude, I gave him some money, about $100. Just to be honest, man, I know y'all say, man, you gave him $100. That's a grown-ass man, bro. When I was 29, ain't nobody gave me a gift whatsoever. At, far as like a family member, a mama, or a daddy, ain't nobody gave me shit. My mom and daddy were gone at that time. Hell, I made my shit happen myself. Along with help from my significant others, people during the time. And man, just learned that, you gotta build. Not everything here is about just, collecting, but you gotta understand, you gotta live outside of this too. That's the thing that I was talking about with people. You gotta get out and enjoy life, man. You gotta go places, learn new things, experience new things. Man, just make yourself feel better. Go to the show, just, talk to people, go to the museums and, just stuff. Just hang out, take pictures, enjoy being alive, bro. And that's what I've been doing, man. Talking to people about the hobby, enjoying the hobby with people telling me, man, they kind of fed up with the way how the situation's working because, like I said, my locations are empty. And, you know, that's another reason that'll make you not want to even do any damn thing. When they're empty, man, you just be like, man, see, this is why I don't mess with them. This is why I don't mess with nobody, man. No, man, I'm tired. You know, you talking like, no, man, I'm tired. And I understand why anybody would be tired. It's a lot. And that's what people don't get. As a collector, you know, you want to collect. I know people keep saying pre-order, 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 pre-order. Dude, most of the time my pre-orders get canceled. Sometimes the pre-order's already sold out. The early bird gets the worm. Dude, I'm a collector, but I'm not one of those collectors that, you know, I'm on top of it. Now, I'm on top of making money. That's my thing. But, you know, and I'm not saying anything, you know, about anything else, because I know people out there who early birds and they own their money too, but I can't do both at the same damn time, man. You know, my thing is, if I don't get it, I just don't. Yeah, I'm gonna cry about it just like everybody else, but you know what? I'm gonna make it happen, man. That's the thing that I think a lot of people don't get. Dude, shit is hard. Life ain't fair. Dude, you see all the way in California and Florida sometimes, and Pennsylvania, they just finding shit up the ass. You like, what the hell? Like, where are you finding this shit at? You know, I'm like, hell, just to be an ass, I went to California, couldn't find shit. I said, see, this is what I'm talking about right here. I don't know what they doing, but, you know, people like, you should have timed it better. Dude, I can't time it better. Shit, I didn't go there to collect toys, but I went there, and I'm just mad, dude. I was just looking, I said, you can't find shit. You know, it's like going to Vegas, and you starting to notice, like, all the places in Vegas closing up. You like, wait, what's going on? Like, damn, no wonder. And you sitting there thinking, why are these tickets so expensive if a lot of the places are closed? A lot of the people in Vegas got laid off. They ain't tell you that, did they? Man, dude, there's some shit going on that we need to be paying attention to. This is why I say I'm still over here stacking paper, because, you know, I don't know what tomorrow may bring. I don't know what today may bring. Shit, you know, at the end of the day, shit still be happening. You know, you be like, look, this day is almost over. You be like, it's 11:59, and you know some shit happened right at 11:59 a.m. You like, oh, you know, I mean, well, shit, a.m., p.m. You just sitting there like, man, I'm just tired. This is what I get at. Collecting is an overall situation where it affects everything. Whatever you doing here is being affected by it. You know, if you spend too much on groceries this week, you might as well say, that disposable money gone. You know, like that's just how it works, man. You just like, man, you got your hands up trying to figure this out. But really, there's nothing to figure out, man. It's just the way how life works, man. It's just slow pickings right now because, man, I got a lot to be grateful for and thankful for, and I am grateful and thankful. And, you know, I sit back and be thankful for some of the awesome people on this channel, man. You know, people that donate, people that, you know, give, people that just want to see you win. And see, that's what I'm talking about. People give you words of encouragement. That's why I try to do it every morning. You know, sending positive vibes, good morning. It ain't me trying to be an ass or anything. This is me just saying good morning and sending positive vibes. I hope you get them. You know, sometimes you got to receive that stuff. You got to be like, man, look, I don't want to be negative today. I just want some positive energy. Dude, a lot of people don't send positive energy. A lot of people just send hate. And you be like, man, I'm used to that. Nah, I don't need that. My nephew said to me the other day, he said, man, I said, I'm tired of people hating on me. He said, man, don't ever get tired of a hater, man. If you don't want that hater, I take him. I said, dude, I'm too old for all that now. I said, all that stuff now, I said, it gets to me now because I said before it didn't get to me. But now it got me sitting here thinking, I said, man, people don't want to see you win. They just want to see you fail. And, you know, when people see you with the stuff behind you, they think you got some sort of addiction, you got some sort of problem, you know, your life a mess or something. And you sitting here thinking like, ain't none of that shit real. But, you know, I'm going to let you think it because, shit, I'm not going to tell you anything different. But that's the thing. And, you know, I had to block like 30 damn people yesterday. Do you know what that felt like? I blocked 30 people. I blocked the person that I talk to every damn day because they got stupid. They got upset because I said something and it had nothing to do with them. Absolutely nothing. But they felt it was a dig, and it wasn't even a dig. I don't even know your life like that, so how would I know? Dude, it's like people, they want to be mad at something, and they want to be mad at somebody, so they want to take it out on somebody. So, dude, I had to block his ass, went to the other channel, asked me, why did you block me, man? Could you please unblock me? No. Dude, I ain't got no time for that. Once you get raggedy, once your mouth start running, you know, all wishy-washy like that, man, all loose in the mouth, man. We grown men. We don't talk to each other like that. Men talk. We don't hint. I don't hint at shit. If I got a problem with you, I will tell you. I don't have a problem with anybody. And, you know, people don't understand that. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at any damn body else. I'm just happy that you winning. Dude, that's what I want for people, to win, not to lose. I want everybody winning. You know what? I hear a lot of people say, man, you collect toys and Funko Pops. You need to get rid of them Funko Pops. I don't tell anybody to get rid of any damn thing, because all of a sudden now I have more competition because he got rid of the Funko Pops and now he collected toys. And you don't know where the hell the people live. They can live close to you and they be getting your shit. Dude, asked the guy, I said, man, where you get your toys from? And he's like, you think I'm going to tell you my honey holes and stuff like that, where I get my stuff? I said, man, we in a whole nother fucking state. You on the East Coast, I'm Midwest. Nah, he's on the West Side. He's in like Cali or Portland or something like that, I think. Might be in Oregon or Seattle, one of them. It's one of those three places. But anyway, I'm like, dude, I'm nowhere near there. No, but you might take a plane to come to get toys, bro. Really? This what we doing? I'm just asking to be asking. Man. But you know what? This is why I don't ask a lot of people, because, you know, a lot of people got those smart comebacks. Used to be a guy at work that I used to ask questions and, you know, just was really involved because we were cool. He got flipped too many times and I just gave up on that. I said, I ain't got time for that. Dude, that's how you treat people. You just give up on them. After a while, people get upset and they want to join. But to later, fam, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for watching all the videos before this. You know, I appreciate each and every last one of you all, and I just want to say thank you. Peace out, fam.